believe that inflation is going to improve this year, and that the chance of a deep recession are lessening. I'm filming this at the tail end of January 2023, and I wanted to do this live because you can see how I think live, and I don't really mind if not many people watch this, and I know that lives get deprioritized compared to kind of fixed content. The thoughts that I'm going to be talking about today are based on 3 topics: tech or technology, which might encompass AI, robotics, and other things, the economy in general, and the future of work. I did a talk recently on technology and the future, really, for the next kind of 1 to couple of years. And a lot of people were asking me, I think there's maybe 60 people in the room, and a lot of people were asking me really questions around the future of work and the economy, which is why I thought I'd do a live stream right now, talk about those 3 topics. I don't want to make it too extensive. I've actually got something to do in 20 minutes. I've got my brother-in-law is coming around. So let's try and make this snappy. Technology, where are we heading? I did this talk in December, which was about 4 weeks ago. And at that point, I didn't want to talk about software and AI within software. I was talking about hardware, robotics, and AI embedded into robots. I think that since then, there's been an incredible growth in software AI, and some use cases or some types of software in particular are ChatGPT and DALL-E, both produced by OpenAI, and which I believe Elon Musk is an investor in. And I've actually used both of these. I think they're incredibly powerful. I've used ChatGPT to create YouTube video scripts for some of the channels I run. I had it to build Excel kind of formulae. I've used it to create descriptions. I've asked it questions. I've used DALL-E to create images that indeed I've actually printed, this digital art, and I've put it into some of the investments I have in properties. I've actually stuck it up on the walls, and actually the printing shop that I printed this digital art, this AI art, they said it was incredible and they love the colors and they love the art. I didn't actually tell them that AI did it. I didn't want to freak anyone out. But anyway, so I think software has progressed so much in the last kind of 4 to 8 weeks. And I think ChatGPT is the fastest growing AI software company in the world. In fact, it's one of the fastest growing companies in the world. I think it's grown faster than Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Pinterest, kind of everything. So I do think you've got AI, and then you've got robotics, and I think that these 2 things are really going to explode in I believe in this year. This year is the kind of critical year where I feel they're kind of testing the surfaces, they're testing the use cases. People are starting to get excited. I think that AI is going to be particularly interesting for, I believe, everybody, consumers as well as businesses are going to be using this. I think robotics at the moment is going to be, I believe, kind of exclusively for businesses in 2023. I don't think there's going to be millions of people buying robots this year, but I do think that will happen at some point soon, maybe 3 to 5 years from now, so maybe 2028. I think that what about the economy? I think the inflation is very high. I think it was 11% in December, and I think that inflation may go down. It may go down. I know that everyone's asking for pay rises and things are still expensive. Energy is still expensive. I think it may go down in spring, summer, because energy costs will go down. But whether the wage increases that people are asking for will increase inflation or keep it high, we don't know. What about a recession in the overall economy? I do think the economy is set for a big recession. I've talked about it on my other channel, which focuses on business and investing. That channel is called Progress is Everything. And on that channel, I mentioned in my predictions for this year that I do think that the discretionary income of a lot of people in this country will go down. primarily because mortgage rates are going up because interest rates have risen. Something else I predicted actually when I fixed 3 mortgages in December of 2021, told everybody publicly. I'm not sure if it's on this channel or on my Progress is Everything YouTube channel. Nevertheless, I do like to think about the future. I do like to predict things, and sometimes I'm right. And with the mortgage rates increase, I read today 700,000 people are going to need to remortgage this year. It's over 1 million. It might even be over 2 million in the next 2 years that have to remortgage. A lot of people that bought properties in the southwest, southeast, London, and big cities have large mortgages. Some of them, I think the average price in London is over £500,000. So when you double those mortgages, people's discretionary income is going to plummet. In some cases, the government have suggested, or was it the Bank of England, suggested that a large percentage of that 700,000 are already in arrears. I think it was about 100,000 people or something are already in mortgage arrears, which means they're at risk of defaulting and losing their homes already. I think this is going to increase. I think I wouldn't be surprised if over 100,000 people lose their homes this year or are forced to sell at a loss and buy lower cost housing. So moving from a house and downgrading into a flat or something like that, or downgrading into rental accommodation. So I think overall that will cause a problem for those people, obviously. But I think overall the people that can afford these increases, the other, let's say 1 million people, they're going to have a lot less discretionary income. So I do think we are set for a very large recession in the next year or two. Conversely, maybe somewhat confusingly, I think that inflation will decrease in the next few years because of the deflationary impact of AI and robotics. I'm not sure about this year. I think that inflation will remain high. I'm pretty confident it will remain above 4 to 5%. I wouldn't be surprised if it's well above 5% this year. Someone was saying that they think it's going to go to 0 at the end of this year, which I don't think so. I doubt it, but I don't know. It's not really that beneficial for me to understand inflation. I think it's more beneficial for me to understand economic demand and interest rates to a certain extent, what's going to happen in the general economy from a job perspective, from an investing perspective, from a future planning perspective for myself and to help people that friends and family and anyone that cares to listen to me. So I think the economy is going to suffer. I think companies that have low margins are going to suffer the most. I think also companies that are dependent on discretionary spend, specifically those that are dependent on discretionary spend from consumers that have at-risk incomes, i.e. or at-risk discretionary spend, i.e. those that have over-mortgaged, maybe are at risk of losing their jobs as well. So I'd call this probably the middle classes, working classes and middle classes, because anyone above that, it kind of doesn't matter. If you're the upper class, you probably don't have a mortgage, or if you do, you can easily service it. And those kind of people have a pretty solid discretionary income in many cases. But the working poor or the middle classes who are going to be squeezed by the mortgage crisis and interest rates in 2023 and 2024, those people are a large majority of the country, and also potentially pensioners as well. The grey pound, they're a big kind of component, and also working families, because all of these categories are going to have their discretionary income completely collapse. Pensioners, with everything else going up, their income pretty much stays fixed. Okay, some pensions may go up a little bit, but I don't think they're going to go up at the same rate as inflation. Families, costs are enormous for nursery costs and food costs and travel costs. And we've already talked about homeowners. So it's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about 5 million households, which is probably 10 million people, which is a vast, that's just the families and the people that have mortgages. I think pensioners are probably another large number. I don't know what that is, 5 million, maybe 10 million, I don't know. So I think the economy overall is going to suffer. And I think the companies that depend on this discretionary income, I'm thinking maybe like holiday camps that focus on a UK customer base. That, you know, maybe pubs potentially, like luxury retailers that focus on the masses, like um, I think it's called mastiche, or, you know, kind of luxury. You know, someone like Hugo Boss, those kind of retailers, they're not luxury, but you know, they target the middle classes that kind of want to give the impression, you know, that they're doing well. Calvin Klein type brands, mass luxury, mastiche, I think they called it. I don't know. But anyway, I think those brands might suffer. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about all the different types of industries that might suffer, but you can probably think about that. If you're an investor, you know, that will impact you. If you work in those fields, have a think about, you know, that if that could affect you. If you're working in a field that relies on discretionary income, I think the leisure sector in general, maybe cinemas, that might get impacted. You know, entertainment potentially might go, or the spending on entertainment nationally might decrease. Things like that. The future of work, I think that some of these companies that have potentially are going to get hit by this discretionary decrease in income for them, their earnings are going to go down. They're going to be thinking about how can they maintain margins, how can they maintain a steady income. And if you're in the retail space, if there's a way for you to save money through automation, through AI, through robotics, I do think that's going to happen. And I think companies are probably going to start looking at it. The most early adopting, forward-thinking companies might be starting to look at it in 2023. I don't think many companies, I don't think you're going to see robots and automation and AI in every company or the majority of companies in 2023. I think it will be a very small minority. But those that do, I think, will start to see benefits almost instantly. So I do think it's coming soon that a growing majority or a growing proportion of businesses will start to look towards AI, robotic process automation, and other types of automation and things like that, AI and you know, all of those things to supplement their workforce, you know, with cobots or with automated workforces or with AI supporting human workers, or indeed replacement. And, you know, the future of work, I think, is a big kind of field. I'm going to touch on it quickly. I don't want to spend too much longer on this video. I appreciate probably not many people watch this video anyway, but nevertheless, my thoughts on the future of work are this: that in the not too distant future, I think that work will be a choice and not a necessity. I think that even those that want to work may not be able to work because they won't be as competent or as fast or as consistent as robots and AI, etc. Nevertheless, I think that those that continue to upskill and retrain in the coming years, in the short term, will have a chance to keep working. And I'm talking here 5-10 years from now. I think there is a risk, but there might be, in the future, there might be a chance to work for more than one company, potentially, and indeed to employ robots and AI for your own career and business. So there's reasons to feel hopeful. Hope this has been helpful, and take care.